Hello everybody, my name is Starrapter. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Star Wars Canon. Every week I talk about everything new in the Star Wars universe that ties back into the films that we all know and love. This could be anything such as the TV series like Rebels and Clone Wars, as well as the comics, novels, and the video games. This week, it's a big one. We're talking about the Season 3 finale of Star Wars Rebels. This is called 0 Hour. Getting right into it. This is what we've all been waiting for. We've been waiting for Thrawn to come out and just wipe out the Rebels, and this is pretty much what the episode is about, guys. So it is about the Rebels attempting to flee Atollon after Thrawn invades the planet. So he finds out about the planet thanks to none other than Kallus, who is working as Fulcrum for the rebellion. So Fulcrum gets found out. Kallus gets found out, and Thrawn uses it to his advantage because he knew that he was a spy all along. So what happens is the rebellion, obviously they can't stay on the planet anymore. They try to evacuate. They can't get out because there's interdictor cruisers that are preventing the rebels from going to hyperspace. So what happens is Ezra's sent out to find more help because their signals are jammed. He has to go to hyperspace. He has to get more help. He comes back with Sabine and her Mandalorian crew. While that happens, the remaining rebels in the fleet, they had to go back down to the planet, and the planet gets bombarded, so they were holding out and holding out. Apparently, Canon pisses off the Bendu, who creates a storm and basically just terrorizes both the Imperials and the rebels. It turns out the rebels have to get out of there, and they go to Yavin, and that's pretty much where the season ends. So I'm going to get into some positives I had for 0 Hour. So the first thing I want to talk about is Kallus versus Thrawn. They're up there on the tower that, we first see Ezra on Lothal. So I thought that was pretty cool, especially now Thrawn throws Kallus to the Death Troopers. So we see the Death Troopers in this episode, which is really awesome because it's like that continuity that's, connecting to Rogue One. Another thing I really enjoyed was Kanan's talk with Ezra in the beginning of the first episode there. We have Canon saying, I can't really teach you anymore. You've learned as much as you can for me. And that to me was one of those many points in the story where they're kind of foreshadowing that Canon would almost die. Now it was a little bit underwhelming that we came out of this episode that nothing really crazy happened to Canon after there were so many little speckles of things, the hint of things to come. The thing I want to talk about most in this episode, guys, is the space battle. So up until this point, we've had little skirmishes with the A-Wings and the Ghosts, but now we have a full-fledged fleet for the rebellion. We have those medical cruisers, we have the blockade runners, we have the Old Republic type ships, the Hammerhead ships, we have Dornian gunships, which are, I gotta say, guys, they are one of my favorite ship designs in Star Wars now. I've seen them in Rogue One, and I love them. They are basically a variant of a blockade runner, so very interesting kind of ship. Another thing I want to talk about is we do have lots of rebellion loss. I mean, this is definitely the episode to show Thrawn's dominance, and he's brilliant because he's able to take out so many rebels, and he even says something about he is not taking prisoners. And that to me just speaks volumes because this guy is cold and calculating. He knows what he's doing. He absolutely knows how he's going to round up these rebels, and if he has to kill a few of them, he's going to do that, but he ultimately wants to get the leaders. I also liked seeing the sacrifice of Commander Sada, who was on that transport ship, and he just does a kamikaze right into the interdictor cruiser, and I thought that was an excellent way for the character to go out. He wanted to be on the bridge while that happened rather than get in the escape pods. I also enjoyed how we had the orbital bombardment of Atollon. I don't think in canon that we've actually seen an orbital bombardment from space due to Star Destroyers, and that was terrifying. Honestly, that was really terrifying. The rebels had put up that shield generator, which was pretty cool because it was taking a beating. It wasn't going to last very long against those Star Destroyer turbo lasers. But we see, like I said before, Canon was about to get killed by him, but then Thrawn pulls back just in time to say, hey, I softened them up and now I'm going to send in my ground troops. So pretty cool stuff there, we've seen all the green hellbolts just flying from the sky. Another thing I thought was really cool was when Thrawn was talking to Bendu, and Bendu pretty much foreshadowed his death, gave him a glimpse into the future, saying he would be dying surrounded in a cold embrace. So I don't know what the heck that kind of symbolizes, but I found that very interesting. So something I didn't like was just how Callus survived. I feel like he served his purpose with Thrawn. He was the key for Thrawn to find out where that base on Atollon actually was, where that base was. So I don't know what he's going to do anymore. And one other thing about this episode was the ending. Yeah, I mean, the Rebels lost. But I would have liked to see some kind of punch like we had at the end of Season 1, you know, the Inquisitor getting killed and Vader showing up right at the end. Or Season 2 when we had the amazing duel between Darth Vader and Ahsoka, and then we get a little bit of glimpse of her walking down. Like some really tantalizing stuff like that. We didn't really get anything like that. The only cool thing we got was just a mention to Yavin. I think it would have been a little bit better if they would have ended on showing the Rebels actually landing on Yavin. That would have been pretty cool. But other than that, it was a really good episode. I actually really enjoyed this episode a lot. It was a great way to cap this season. So that is going to do it for this week in Star Wars Canon. But I want to know what you guys thought of it. So feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. What did you think of the Season 3 finale of Star Wars Rebels? Guys, I also have my Season 3 review up on the channel now. So make sure you go check that out. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel already, please consider doing so. I have tons of other Star Wars content as well as video games, movies, TV series, and more. I'm Starrapter. I want to thank you guys for watching, and may the Force be with you always. So, did you like the video? Then make sure you rate it a thumbs up, and if you did that, go over there, hit that Starrapter head to subscribe to my channel. Doing so will keep you up to speed on all of my latest content, speaking of which you can see a couple of my recent uploads down below. I'm also on social media, so what are you waiting for? Let's start nerding out.